this season we've got a bit of a change as well. I mean, we have the inaugural Las Vegas race to look forward to later in the season, which I don't believe we had in season 34. And we have the return of China, France, and Brazil. So, what do you think of the new Vegas track generally? And are you happy to see the other classic tracks return this season as well?
Yeah, well, Las Vegas, I haven't raced much on it, and we're yet to see it raced out in real life. So, I think it's got potential, depending on how each car is at that stage in the season. As obviously Red Bull are looking like they're going to run away with that. But in this season, I think the drivers are just going to look forward to a new track, something fresh. And then with the classic tracks of is it France and Brazil returning, they'll be wanting to use that knowledge that they already have of these tracks to benefit them in the race and in qualifying.
Yeah, Brazil is one that is an absolute favourite of mine. Great place to overtake on. Great flowing track as well, and always produces really, really good action. France, I could take it or leave it with France. I normally tend to do well there, though, so I think that's why I could take it sometimes. But yeah, China is one that I've never been able to gel with, and I don't know if it's because I just can't get the right setup, or it just doesn't suit my driving style, or whatever it is. But I never have a decent result in China, unfortunately. But yeah, all those to look forward to. Vegas track, obviously, glamour under the lights. It's going to be exciting, I'd imagine, for the drivers to be racing in a different environment, and a brand new track as well. And yeah, I mean, I haven't done much practice on it at all. I haven't raced around it yet, so I'm yet to really form an opinion. But I raced last night on the low sail Qatar track, and that was quite a good one to do. That was quite interesting. Huge DRS zone as well, which only promoted the overtaking. So yeah, that was good fun. But anyway, yeah, let's get back to the action here, as the drivers will be doing another one-shot qualifying here in Bahrain under the sun lights rather than the night lights. Yeah, it's going to be making sure that nobody makes a corner cut here, doesn't take too much track limits as well, because that will just ruin your qualifying, won't it, Sean?
Yeah, they're gonna want to be careful at this track, because like you know, the double left-handers at turn 11 and 12 is really tricky, and it's really easy to lock up if you're running no ABS, and then even with the ABS on, like you just seem to run wide, and it's hard to carry the momentum you need, and it will cost you like 5/10 of your lap if you can't nail that corner exactly.
Yeah, so definitely drivers are going to have to really sit on the limit here to get the best out of their lap time, but go too far over that limit and you're disqualified. The game is not forgiving in that sense at all. So yeah, drivers making their final preparations here, and we will just stick with one driver to start off with, because it's not easy to switch between the drivers as to who's leading. So yeah, let's try and stick with Lewis Craig if I can get to him. No.
Yeah, he's looking good at the minute.
I'm on Lewis Craig now, so we're going to stick with Lewis Craig here on board. And yeah, it's strange. We've got all of the floodlights on in the day, under the beaming sunlight as well. So we're almost getting a double helping of light onto this track. Not that you can really tell, but yeah, it's odd seeing Bahrain under the sun. I don't think we've really seen it under the sun for a number of years now, have we, Sean?
Well, I can't remember, to be honest, but like, what was it? The cars used to overheat all the time in the day, so that's why they switched to a nighttime track. And Lewis Craig is going around this lap pretty well at the minute. He's running in P1 with the likes of Daniel Wheelnut, Dan Morris, Mayor Quimby, and Theo Hickman just behind. And I think it's all pretty close. And he looks to have nailed that corner that I was talking about. And it's going to be all down to who can get on the power through this little left section here, because, as you know, if your tyres get too warm, you will spin out going up this hill.
Indeed, as we're seeing a changing of the order here, it's close between Daniel P. Wheelnut, Theo Hickman, and what was Dan Morris. Dan Morris seems to have lost a bit of time here. Theo Hickman now just seems to have gotten past Daniel P. Wheelnut on our screen here, but we don't know what the actual gaps are. Daniel P. Wheelnut now passed slightly as well, so Maybe Daniel P. Wheelnut could be running a little less downforce than his fellow rivals here. And Lewis Craig there takes the fastest lap there with a 129.4, tenths ahead of Theo Hickman in second. And I didn't have a chance to really check the gaps between the rest of them. But yeah, relatively close qualifying session by the looks of it there.
Yeah, I think Bahrain's a track that a lot of the drivers tend to race on quite a lot. So that experience has obviously come in handy. And Daniel Wheelnut and Theo just split by seven. Is it hundredths?
700ths, yeah, indeed. Yeah. So I'm just going to quickly run through your order here. So Lewis Craig taking pole position there with a 129.4, with Theo Hickman in second and Daniel P. Wheelnut in third, rounding out your podium starting positions, with Meir Quemby in fourth, Sheck Weiss in fifth, Dan Morris in sixth, Nell Jack in seventh, and M. Shep in eighth, Zaya Sports in ninth, and Nothyear Mass in 10th there, rounding out your top 10, with Red Bull Kim in 11th, the final runners to actually complete the lap, with Kaya in 12th, 13th is Paul McGee, and Mr. John in 14th. So, yeah, not much splitting Theo Hickman and Daniel P. Wheelnut there, as we saw the orders changing constantly throughout the lap. They're going to be two to watch, really, to see if they can reignite their old historic rivalry that they had in previous seasons before Theo Hickman kind of left the series for a while. But he's now back to give Daniel P. Wheelnut a good run for his money. Dan Morris, one to watch as well. He's quick and racy, with Lewis Craig and Jack Craig, obviously not to be forgotten about either. And it'll be interesting to know if the drivers will be starting on the mediums here, or whether we'll see some soft runners starting as well, considering the track temperatures, and obviously that safety car is something to take into account as well, Sean.
Yeah, it looks like the guys are going with mostly mediums. I can see in the garage now at the minute that a few of them do have that. We can check if any is going any soft tyres. And the majority of the field look like they're on soft tyres for this. And if we're a 35% race, we know anything can happen. So I think that is the right choice, to be honest, because then you can get your mandatory pit stop out of the way if a safety car does happen.
Indeed, yes. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lights under the Bahrain sun, with the Pirelli logo there, and it's lights out, away they go. We've got Lewis Craig getting off to a good start with Theo Hickman, and Daniel P. Wheelnut getting a great start there, and seems to be almost getting a jump on Theo Hickman. We've got some orders changing in the pack there, and we've got a dive bomb up from Theo Hickman. He really goes real deep there, as Lewis Craig now goes round the outside of him with the better drive. Can Theo Hickman take it to him here? Is he going to go up to the inside? He's going to look up the inside. Can he break here? Doesn't break late enough, and we actually see Daniel P. Wheelnut losing out there to fifth position. What happened there, Sean?
It just looked like he got caught out going into that first corner. Maybe took it a bit cautiously, but he's lost them positions, and he'll be looking to make his way back up now. But he is on the medium tyres compared to some of these soft runners that have managed to get past him. But all looking really close, and like you say, Theo Hickman looking really racy tonight, as always, really. And we're bound to see a really entertaining race. And Dan Morris and Dan Wheelnut having a little battle out of that corner there, and Dan Morris is going to try and make the move down this straight here, I think.
Yeah, as we see Dan Morris on those soft tyres, I saw him getting very racy into that very tight hairpin left, coming onto that back straight, and Dan Morris now seeming to get the advantage with those soft tyres. Now Sheck Weiss coming up the inside here of Meir Quemby. Sheck Weiss on those soft tyres is pushing Meir Quemby out of the way on that corner. He's not going to be too happy with that. And Meir Quemby, will he come back at Sheck Weiss?
Oh, Theo down the inside of Lewis Craig into the final corner. They had a little wheel bang, but Lewis Craig has got a better run, but Theo is burning his ERS to get back past now. And he managed to just come by.
Oh my goodness me, so Lewis Craig, Theo Hickman, Lewis Craig now currently, oh my goodness, the camera angles, sorry, keep disrupting me here, but yeah, Lewis Craig still behind here at the moment, and Theo Hickman, as Lewis Craig goes very wide going through turn two, sorry, and he's not going to be able to challenge here, but he's going to tuck in behind Theo Hickman, ready to fight for another day. But Daniel P. Wheelnut down into sixth place now, so not a great start for him, is it?
No, it's not a great start. I haven't managed to see if there's any damage that he sustained in that first corner. It doesn't look that way, but he might just be settling into this race now, and he does tend to save his ERS, and the other guys in front tend to burn it a lot more. Sheck Weiss on about 50% compared to these other guys, but everyone down to around 11th place, keeping in touch with the leaders at this moment in time.
Yeah, and that'll be good for when DRS is activated in the next lap. as we're seeing Czech Waste now really getting into this fight here. 3 tenths behind Lewis Craig. Mayor Quemby 1.1 seconds behind, and he's not going to be able to really take it to him unless he can get within that DRS zone to keep up with these guys, because they seem to be checking out at the front here. As you see Lewis Craig having a bit of a swapper coming out of that second to last corner, and he's now under threat from Czech Waste. Can he bring any threat to Theo Hickman? We're going to ride on board with him here as he comes around the final corner, really using that curb. But Czech Waste seems to be even closer. Is he going to try something here? Theo Hickman gets the fastest lap of the race so far. We've got a bit of weaving by the looks of things going on from Theo Hickman as DRS is enabled. And I suppose we'll see. Oh my goodness me.
Quimby down the inside of Dan Morris into turn one. Dan Morris got a little bit of a cutback, but he's had to slot in behind him, and he's trying to get back fast now, but Mayor Quimby's got the DRS, and he just had a little touch of the rear wheels.
Oh, and Czech Waste is trying to go up the inside here of Lewis Craig, and he did bang wheels there, but luckily there was no spinners. Dan Morris is round. Oh no, Dan Morris is round, and his race is going to be ruined there. I'm supposing he tried to go up the inside of turn 4 and it just wasn't doing.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He tried
but
to keep
sorry,
it in
Czech Waste here has now taken Lewis Craig in the most unlikely of places. Lewis Craig is still fighting here. Can he get the better drive here as Czech Waste, I think, has got the DRS open now on the back of Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig doesn't have the DRS. Czech Waste is going to go for it here. He goes up the inside. Lewis Craig has nothing to say here. He has no answers. And he has lost out to second place as Czech Waste now is going off to fight off to Theo Hickman. But Lewis Craig having a poor couple of corners there. And yeah, he's still in the fight. He's having a bit of a swap, and maybe he's running a very kind of rear and limited setup here, which he cannot do around Bahrain, as it is a traction track here, and really suffering at the moment on these soft tyres.
Yeah, sorry, I was just on board with Daniel Whelan. Just went a little wide at the final corner. He was closing real well in on the back of Mayor Quimby, and he does have a lot more ERS than him. But then we have a switch with Weiss and Lewis Craig into turn 1, just down at the end of the straight.
I can't keep up with everything that's going on the track. I thought M-Shep was going to take his teammate Daniel P. Whelan up there. Czech Waste now is on the back of Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig has the DRS on the back of Theo Hickman as well. And so that's not going to happen at this moment in time. Daniel P. Whelan now catching up to the back of Mayor Quemby. It's all great racing up and down the field here, Sean.
Yeah, we've got quite a few close battles. Actually, I'm on board with Red Bull. Kim was looking for a move, but he just decides to back out of it at that moment. And we do have more battles, but Daniel Wheelnut is keeping real close with the back of Mayor Quimby, and he'll have the DRF going down this next straight, so he will be wanting to make the move sooner rather than later, as they are on the same tyres.
Yeah, so Czech Waste actually looking very racy on the back of Lewis Craig here, and Lewis Craig all over the back of Theo Hickman now. 3/10 the gap, and Czech Waste 3/10 the gap as well, and there's a massive gap to Mayor Quemby with 1.8 seconds in the grand scheme of things, really. But M-Shep now on the back of Daniel P. Wheelnut, and Daniel P. Wheelnut on the back of Mayor Quemby. I just don't know what to track here. We're going to stay with Czech Waste fight here for the lead at the moment, because it is looking very, very racy. And I'd imagine along this straight here, there's going to be another change of the order. We're going to go on board with Czech Waste here. DRS opens for Czech Waste, as well as Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig will get towed along by Theo Hickman. Theo Hickman under threat. He moves to the middle. He moves to the right. My goodness me, that was a late move from Theo Hickman. And Lewis Craig goes round the outside. He's being squeezed wide. Will this bring Czech Waste into the mix here? Czech Waste getting a great drive off turn 2 there. And he's right under the wing of Lewis Craig. He moves to the left here. And he's going to get boxed in. He's going to get boxed in. And he hits the back of Theo Hickman. Theo Hickman doesn't get affected, though. Does Czech Waste have any damage? I don't know. And they're still side by side, Rosberg Hamilton-esque in 2014, and still side by side going through these corners. My goodness, wow. Lewis Craig up the inside here in the Aston Martin. Czech Waste get a great drive there, and Lewis Craig still side by side. Somebody's going to have to yield going into this corner at some point. Surely they don't. But Lewis Craig is the one who loses out in the end with Czech Waste. Czech Waste is on the DRS now, and Lewis Craig seems to have yielded for another fight to happen maybe later on. But my goodness, that was some great racing.
Yeah, it was just a little bit, and Lewis gets a little bit out of shape coming through this section here. But it's allowed Mayor Quimby to be right on the back of him, and he's looking in a good position. Have those soft tyres gone off already on lap 5 with 15 laps to go?
it could have been the case, but it could have been the case that all this fighting between this top three has brought Mayor Quemby in on those medium tyres. He's going to have a bit more tyre life, I'd imagine, at this point. Don't know if it'll be the fastest tyre at the moment, but Theo Hickman already having to move to the middle there as Nofgear Mas gets a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting, and Mayor Quemby is going for it here. He dives up the inside in that Red Bull. Is he going to be able to take two drivers in one? My goodness, that got close between him and Sheck Waste, but Mayor Quemby now up to third position, and he is looking very racy, and he will surely have an advantage now when it comes to strategy as well. And yeah, my goodness, Sheck Waste coming up the inside into turn 4 on Theo Hickman, gives him plenty of room. And Theo Hickman gives him plenty of room. Good respect there for the racing, but that is going to really affect them as we have a yellow flag in sector 1. I'm not sure what from. Hopefully it doesn't bring out a safety car, because we're seeing some great racing at the moment, aren't we, Sean?
Yeah, I think Mr. John had a little moment, or Dan Morrison had a little spin. But Daniel Wilmot has caught up to the back of this pack as well. We Emshet and Neljak, Saya Sports, all on the back of this as well. So we're going to have a close race to the end if these drivers can keep making these moves. And obviously Theo, Sheck and Lewis all on the soft tyres compared to most of these other guys. So we'll see how this works out for them. And Daniel Wilmot will be really happy with how he managed to fight back after losing all those places at the start.
Yeah, look at Mayor Quemby here, just under 3/10, almost pushing Sheck Waste around the penultimate corner here, as he's now looking very racy. Sheck Waste, is he going to try and make a move up the inside into the final corner here? He's going up for it. Oh my goodness, and there's been some contact. Yeah. There's been some contact on Theo Hickman, and Sheck Waste have made contact, and Lewis Craig has somehow come out in lead ahead of Mayor Quemby here. Mayor Quemby obviously looking to dive into the... out of the way.
Has decided to come into the pits.
Well, he's very lucky there because he didn't look like he was going to do it. And Mayor Quemby now diving up the inside on Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig has the inside line here. Has to give him the room. This is looking a bit sloppy. Theo. And Theo Hickman coming up here in second place. Can he make a move here on Owen Quemby up the inside? And oh my goodness, that was close in contact. But Lewis Craig now going up the inside. My goodness me.
There are 5 tenths between this top 4.
I think Lewis Craig has used all his ERS because the light is flashing on the back of that Aston Martin.
They're all running really low on the ERS, except from Daniel Wilnut, who's still got around 65%.
So advantage Daniel P. Wheelnut. Mayor Quemby now 7.5 tenths ahead of the rest of this pack. Lewis Craig almost pushing Theo Hickman around that tight left-hander. And is he going to start to make a move in here into the final corner? They both have DRS. Theo Hickman pushing wide, really on the limit when it comes to moving under the weaving there. So something I'd be careful of there, Theo. You don't really want to get a penalty for that and get a name for that, unfortunately. But Daniel P. Wheelnut 5.5 tenths now, making a recovery drive, bringing his teammate at M-Shep along with him as well, so they can maybe do something tactical here. But yeah, here we go. Lewis Craig on the back here of Theo Hickman. He's not going to make a move into the final corner as that DRS zone is coming up. And let's see, Theo Hickman looks like he's going to be going into the pits. And crossing the line there. He's got to be careful doing that. But Lewis Craig into the pits now anyway.
Yeah, I've just gone on board with Sheck Wise as he had to pit after that instant with was it with Theo coming out the final corner? So we'll see where he ends up in this little battle. But Daniel Wilnut and Neljak both doing the same strategy as Lewis Craig, and all these other cars be wanting to do a little overcut. And here we go. Here comes Sheck Wise down the start-finish straight, and is he going to meet him at the exit? That is the question. And they're both exiting just now, and he's going to be really late on the brakes to try and get this move done. But Lewis Craig keeps it in there, keeps his nose just there, and then Sheck Wise has managed to get this move done. So, despite that incident, he has managed to come out ahead of this pack.
Yeah, the undercut incredibly strong on this game. So Sheck Wise really... Oh, and there's been some contact between IoT Kaya and Nofgear Mas. And is that... No, they're still in the race. Luckily, there's not going to be a safety car by the looks of things from that. There is a yellow sector 1 and 2 flag, though. So... Drivers, starting to lose a bit of concentration by the looks of it under the sunlight. Maybe starting to overheat here, as you mentioned before. But yeah, it's been a chaotic few laps here. But Mayor Quemby, our current leader here, 1.3 seconds ahead of Theo Hickman, who somehow hasn't got damage from that incident that Sheck Waste and him had at the final corner. And I'd imagine we're starting to come into the pit window now, Sean.
Yeah, I suspect that Theo Hickman will come in this lap as his tyres will be getting older, and some of these guys will have a 1-2 lap advantage on the undercut on him, and he just goes in here, do not cross that line too quickly, and he hasn't done that. So we'll see where he comes out in relation to Chet Weiss, Lewis Craig, and Daniel Wheelnut.
Daniel Wheelnut on the back of Lewis Craig here, and what can he do with this DRS zone coming up, as they're both on the hard tyres. So no tyre advantage here, as they did pit at the exact same time as well. So we're going to ride on board with Daniel P. Wheelnut. Lewis Craig looked to go to move to the inside. Daniel P. Wheelnut makes it round him, as we've got the car coming out of the pits as well of Theo Hickman. And Theo Hickman brakes incredibly late. That was poor driving there, unfortunately, as we're going to have a squeeze there as Daniel P. Wheelnut gets hit again for a 3-second time penalty for something that wasn't his fault. That wasn't great there from Theo Hickman, I'm not going to lie.
Here comes Theo.
But Theo Hickman now, Daniel P. Wheelnut's going to let him go. And, just braking too late there coming out of the pits. That was unfortunate. But either way, Daniel P. Wheelnut luckily not getting too much damage and rather there to live to fight another day. But either way, Daniel P. Wheelnut dispatched Theo Hickman, and he's going to have to work to get back at Lewis Craig here, Sean.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that Theo did go so deep on the brakes. Like, luckily there was no contact that I saw, but obviously Daniel had to go off the track and with penalty. Theo goes around the outside of Daniel Wheelnut right now, and is Daniel going to keep it in there? He tries, but the superior grip of the medium tyre seems to have helped Theo out there. Yeah,
so Daniel P. Wheelnut now on the back foot here, and Theo Hickman's going to be going off fighting to try and hunt down Lewis Craig, as we've got M-Shep now in the pits. I'd imagine Daniel P. Wheelnut's going to dispatch of his teammate very quickly here, considering he was ahead when the pit stops took place. But we have second, third and fourth now in the pits. Dan Morris now in the pits after his recovery. Where is he going to come out in relation to these drivers? And he looks to be coming out in 9th, 10th possibly after the pit stops. So Mayor Quemby still out there in front in me, 19 seconds ahead of Chet Weiss. Will that be enough to stay ahead of him after the pits? I don't think it will be. So Mayor Quemby may be hoping for a safety car here to help him out with his strategy, but we'll soon see. As Daniel P. Wheelnut now going around the outside of Theo Hickman, into turn 4, tries it, but nothing doing at the moment. So Theo Hickman is still fighting with Daniel P. Wheelnut, not closing down on Lewis Craig as quickly as he'd hoped on those medium tyres, but Daniel P. Wheelnut surely will have a tyre advantage come the end of the race, Sean.
Yeah, the soft tyres, I think they did drop off quite a lot, because we saw with the undercut that Chet Weiss got. Even he had that little bit of contact with Theo, he come into for his stop, and then he just had a bit of clean air, and he's managed to get 2 seconds ahead of Lewis Craig now. So Theo could have been there if he'd have pit around the same lap. So we're around 2 seconds different. And Chet Weiss has closed in on Owen here, and I think he's looking like he'll take the lead when Owen decides to pit.
Yeah, he might take the lead, but I'd imagine Owen's going to have a good tyre offset for the end of the race here to take it back to Chet Weiss. And maybe Lewis Craig could be within his pit window as well. Theo Hickman seems to be a bit too far back at the moment, so Owen could be looking very racy come the end of it on those soft tyres. But we'll soon find out, as there seems to be the gaps are starting to settle down a bit here now. But Daniel P. Wheelnut, oh my goodness me, Theo Hickman must have broke really early then for Daniel P. Wheelnut to have that kind of closing speed. And Daniel P. Wheelnut now getting the better drive. He's going to have the DRS here. It goes right to the inside. Theo Hickman squeezing him here. My goodness, and yeah. Oh dear, there's contact between them.
No, they're both off the track.
Goodness me, what is going on? I'm not sure what's happened there for the spin, but looks like there's been a tangling and a contact there, and Daniel P. Wheelnut's race has just gone from bad to worse in the space of a couple of corners. M-Shep now on the back of Neljak for 4th place here. Can he recover some points from McLaren, as Daniel P. Wheelnut now, he's going to have the drive of his life to get a recovery here with that 3-second time penalty as well. But Mayor Quemby still out there in front, still not pitted. 16.8 seconds now ahead of Chet Weiss. Can he... he's coming to the pits now. He's in the pits now, so let's see where he comes out.
Yeah, Weiss is about 16.5 seconds behind May Quimby, so I think he will get out ahead fairly comfortably. It's whether May Quimby slots in between Lewis Craig and Chet Weiss, or if he falls behind this two. But like you say, he will have a greater tyre offset, and he has gone to the soft tyres. So as they're both coming down the start straight now, they have passed May Quimby in the pits, and Neljak might even get him at this rate. But he will have the better pace, and M. Shet has just managed to get past Neljak into this first corner. And then he's got May Quimby in his sights, so let's hope he can get some heat into those tyres and get away from this battle behind.
Yeah, so M. Shep now 5 tenths, 7 tenths behind May
Lewis
Quimby.
Craig gone so deep.
Oh, he's gone deep. Will that bring May Quimby into the mix here? 2.5 seconds now. The gap, we've got M. Shep here. Neljak in 5th as well. What can be done here by these drivers? Czech Waste now 4 seconds ahead of Lewis Craig. May Quimby has a bigger, taller order to come back at these guys than I thought he would, but he is on those soft tyres looking racy. He's going to have to get these moves done early here so that he has the tyre life to be able to keep ahead as well. But yeah, Dan Morris now in 9th place on the back of Sayer Sports is probably our closest battle.
Yeah, it is, and May Quimby then he managed to get M-Shet out of the DRS by 1,000th of a second, so very lucky there not to keep him hooked onto the back of him, and Neljak is following quite closely here. But we've got a couple of battles up and down, like you say. We've got Dan Morris in behind this little group of Paul McGee, Sayer Sports. He'll be expecting to be a bit further up. I'm not sure what actually happened to Dan Morris. I think he might have had a little incident earlier on in the race.
Yeah, I believe it was in the first couple of laps. He had a bit of an incident and dropped down the field. But Neljak now is in that DRS. Dan Morris is very close behind. What's going on? Game glitching again, unfortunately.
Sayers are looking for a move on Paul McGee into turn 1 by the looks. He goes really late on the brakes. He tries to get down the outside, but he has to ride the curve. He hits the side of him.
There's contact between Sayer Sports and Paul McGee. Sorry to interrupt there. Paul McGee gets a 3-second time penalty for that. And it's looking racy between Dan Morris, Paul McGee, and Sayer Sports. And Dan Morris braking late. I don't know if that was the lag or what was going on there, but he looked like he was braking late, but doesn't seem to have made the position there, unfortunately, for him. But again, the lag, they're not easy to track. Neljak is on the back of M-Shep as well. And Dan Morris, has he made a move, sorry? Has he made a move there?
He went down the inside of Sayer Sports into the hairpin, and he's got a lot more traction through here. I wasn't sure, obviously, we've had all that lag just then. I wasn't sure if it was actually a move or if it was just going to jump back behind. But Sayer Sports now behind this pack, and Dan Morris looking to make an attack on Paul McGee.
So Dan Morris now, let's see what he can do here. He's too far back at the moment. So that one is something that we'll have to come back to later on in the race. May Quimby now 1.7, 1.8 seconds behind Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig 1.6 seconds behind Czech Waste. So these gaps at the front are coming down. So that's definitely one to keep on the back burner as well. Dan Morris now, he is trying to close down on Paul McGee. I don't know what the ERS levels are between these drivers, as May Quimby now sets the fastest lap of the race with a 1:31.7. But Dan Morris now looking very racy. DRS is coming up. He's got this move done, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's burning his ERS. He has far more than Paul McGee, who's only not even burning it. And Sayer Sports also in a similar position to Dan Morris. Both got around 30% of the ERS, so might look for a move down this next straight. And Dan Morris is going to look to try and close that gap to Theo to try and get another place thanks to that penalty. Yeah,
so on board with Sayer Sports. He looks like he's too far back at the moment to make a solid move, but let's keep an eye on that. That's probably going to change order in the coming stages of the race. But May Quimby now 1.2 seconds behind with Lewis Craig, 1.2 seconds behind Czech Waste. So this is going to get racy in the next couple of laps. This is going to be a fight for the lead. And can Lewis Craig make a recovery from what he had in the last race to recover?
To catch into the back of Lewis as well.
Indeed, yes. So May Quimby, this is going to be a three-way fight for the win here.
All on different tyre compounds.
All on different. Wow. Okay. So Lewis Craig on the hards, Czech Waste on the mediums, May Quimby on the softs. So currently advantage May Quimby, provided he's got enough tyre life left come the end of the race. And this is a unique scenario. But Lewis Craig will be looking to recover some championship points that he lost out on in Australia, and really taking advantage of Daniel P. Wheelnut having that incident with Theo Hickman. and he won't be getting as many points as he wanted in his campaign towards the driver's title as well. And look at that, Lewis Craig now under the second mark, as is Mayor Quemby. They'll have DRS coming into turn 4 here, won't they, Sean?
Yeah. Down that start-finish straight, it didn't look like Lewis had the DRS, but he has got it going down this one, and he'll be thankful for it. He's under 10% of the DRS already, and Owen will know that by the flashing light, and he's got around 40% of the DRS, so the tyre advantage looking really good at this moment, but obviously Lewis's tyres are probably going to come more into their own than both of these other guys around him, and he's in a good position right now, and I think Weiss is going to want to just keep defending, but he's gone really deep into that hairpin there, and it's allowed Lewis Craig to close up just a bit, and he'll probably have more of a chance in this DRS zone, with Mayor Quimby also just 2 tenths behind, wanting to carry as much momentum as he can through here, and Lewis has a little moment there, and they're going for it, and I don't think Mayor Quimby is burning any of his ERS for compared, but it's just looking like they just want to follow each other down this, and they might have a go down the start-finish straight where it's a bit longer.
Yeah, sorry, I was just following there. Theo Hickman went for a spin. I'm not sure if he made contact with another driver. So that's brought Daniel P. Wheelnut back into the mix with him to be able to compete against him. But we're going to stick on board with Mayor Quemby here. Look at this. Mayor Quemby, he's going to have an advantage here. I found out the other day that if you're under 10% ERS on these cars, they start to derate and you don't get as much of an advantage using the ERS going forward. But look at this. Driver, oh my goodness! So, my goodness me! Owen Quemby went right off the back there of Lewis Craig, and Lewis Craig, and he's going to try and go around the outside here of Shek Weiss. Shek Weiss now in the middle. Owen Quemby banging wheels with Shek Weiss. Shek Weiss, who's going to have the DRS? Shek Weiss. They both don't have the DRS. Why aren't they using? Somebody must have the DRS there.
Weiss has got it, and he's gone down the inside, and Mayor Quimby there was looking for the switchback. But he gets it done.
Sorry, go on.
Sorry. Lewis Craig obviously followed those through turn 1 and 2, and he had a little moment himself, so managed to drop off the back. But thanks to these two battling still, he managed to keep his gap pretty minimal.
And Mayor Quemby is your new leader of the race here after making that almighty dive into turn 1 to take 2 out of 1 in the corner.
Yeah, we've got Dan Morris on Neljack.
So Dan Morris now going round the outside of this tight hairpin, and he makes the move stick. Great braking there from Dan Morris to make that move. And he seems to have lag issues as well, and I'm not sure if Neljack is actually coming back at him or not. We're going to ride on board with Neljack. Neljack looks to go to the inside, but thinks better of it. And, that'll be a fight that I'm sure will be coming later on. But Lewis Craig, Shek Weiss and Mayor Quemby still within DRS of each other. And Shek Weiss now looks to be the one who's derating at this moment in time. So the two drivers behind Mayor Quemby don't seem to have the ERS to be able to fight here properly. And Mayor Quemby now seems to have the advantage going into lap 17.
Yeah, what is it? 4 laps, racing laps remaining. And Shek Weiss is on 10-lap hold medium tyres compared to Lewis's 9-lap old hards, and then Mayor Quimby is on the 5-lap old soft tyres, and the gap's staying fairly even, so all these tyres must be in brilliant operating window, like very similar to one another at this moment. But yeah, no one really looked like they can get an attack off, but Lewis is so late on the brakes, he's hit the back of Shek Weiss.
They've made contact, and Shek Weiss is round. Lewis Craig has gone into the back of Shek Weiss there. Bit clumsy from Lewis Craig, unfortunately for him, as I was actually watching Neljack take Dan Morris here into turn 1, and that is going to have ruined Shek Weiss. As M-Shep now up to 3rd place. I don't think he's going to hold that after his penalties has applied. But that is a shame, and Shek Weiss is unable to really fight for the win now, unless something goes seriously wrong between the front two at the moment. And Mayor Quemby, after all this fighting, is now 3.8 seconds up the road, and it looks like he's going to be checking out from here. But, Dan Morris now coming back on Neljack. Can he take any fight back to him? I don't think it's going to happen just into this braking zone here, but he's looking racy. And that'll be something to definitely watch later, as M-Shep now is on the back of Lewis Craig.
Yeah, M-Shep has obviously benefited massively from that collision between Lewis Craig and Shek Weiss. Hopefully he gets the DRS here, where I think he's just got it through the detection zone there. They both got very even ERSs, and I think M-Shep is going to want to make this move, because he knows if he makes this move, he can gain more time on the cars behind and potentially keep this podium even with his penalty.
Yep, so M Shep too far back at the moment. We've got the fight happening in the background there. Dan Morris making the move already on Neljak, halfway down the pit straight, and he's going to have advantage going into this corner, but Neljak could come back with him at him with the DRS into turn
And
four.
we've
I
got
think he... Go on.
Daniel Wheeler around the outside of Theo Hickman into turn one. He's gone for it, but he's not managed to pull it off, and he looks for a little switchback, and he might have a better run going into turn three. And he's got the DRS on him now, and he goes straight around the inside, and he looks to have got this move done nice and well, but we know Theo will go late on the brakes, and he does. And he tries it around the outside, but Daniel's keeping it there, and a little tap on the side of the side pod, and he's had to yield again to him.
So he's had to yield to him again there, and he's not going to be happy with him at the end of this race, I'm sure of that. But we continue on as we're in lap 18 at the moment. Maya Quemby now 4 seconds ahead of Lewis Craig. M. Shep still within that second and doesn't seem to be making any inroads into Lewis Craig. Sheck Waste 2.5 seconds behind M. Shep at the moment, and Dan Morris seems to be now trying to hunt down Sheck Waste as Neljak has seemed to have fallen off the back of that gaggle of cars. Daniel P. Wheelnut now, he seems to be the closest battle on track at the moment on those hard tyres compared to Theo Hickman on the mediums. And can he make a move stick here? Can he get far enough ahead of Theo Hickman that he's not going to have to worry about late braking into a corner? We'll soon find out, I'm sure. So let's stick with this battle as Daniel P. Wheelnut will be squaring up here, coming out of the final corner to get that DRS on him, I'm sure.
Yeah, I imagine he is pretty frustrated with this race, losing them positions at the start and then having this little incident with Theo earlier, and then to be the same person he's battling now. But he's going to look to make this move down this start-finish straight. Can see that he's derating, and he's going to look for it round the outside again. So let's see if he can make it stick. But Theo is keeping his nose right in there. They're alongside, and Daniel's having to keep it there. And I don't think he's going to have as good a run as he did last time, but we can see, and he hasn't got the DRS either, so Theo's got it, and it looks like he's going to keep this position.
Yeah, so it was lucky there for Theo to be behind coming into the DRS detection line as Daniel tried to make that move on him. But Daniel hasn't exactly dropped off here. He's still well on the back here of Theo Hickman, sorry. And can he make a move into this back straight maybe to get this move well and truly done? He is the quicker driver by the looks of things at the moment, but just can't make the move stick, unfortunately. And maybe that's a limitation to those hard tyres that he's got equipped to his McLaren. We'll soon find out. DRS goes wide open for Daniel P. Wheelnut. Is he going to make a move? He's going to make a move. He's going up the inside here. There's a bit more wheel banging, and it looks like he's finally been released now. Theo Hickman is coming back at him though, and looks to get around the outside in this long right-hander. And Daniel P. Wheelnut, no matter what he seems to do, just can't seem to make a move. And he's making the move up the inside. He's made the move up the inside now. Daniel P. Wheelnut. Theo Hickman's still on the back of him. He seems to be trying to come back at him now. And is he going to make a move into the final corner there? Oh, they're playing a Saudi Arabia-style DRS detection move here on each other.
Mr. John to get DRS on these two.
Oh, my goodness me. And Theo Hickman's going for it now. He's going to go up the inside. He's derating to the high heaven at the moment. Daniel P. Wheelnut will be behind him. Coming into this, he's almost pushing him round the corner. And will he get a good enough drive? Does he have enough ERS to make an attack and move? He has the DRS open. He's got the ERS open as well. He's going up the inside. Will Theo Hickman brake too late here? He does. But Daniel P. Wheelnut drives him. He drives him out wide. There's a switch back, and Daniel P. Wheelnut, has he made the move stick? Yes, he has. He has made the move stick finally, and Daniel P. Wheelnut up to ninth position after I'm sure a lot of frustration was bottled up there and has finally been released with Mr. John coming back at them now. Can Theo Hickman make the move back on Daniel P. Wheelnut here, Sean?
Yeah, I think he's got every opportunity to do that. But it looked like Daniel had just learnt from the previous couple of laps where they'd been battling going into that corner, and he was like, I'm not going to leave as much space there this time and let you just come back through.
Yeah, so already a feud happening between Daniel P. Wheelnut and Theo Hickman. Old rivalries being ignited yet again between these drivers. Theo Hickman already goes into the back of Daniel P. Wheelnut round this second to last corner on the final lap. Is he going to try something here into the final corner? I don't know if he is or not, but I've just missed Maya Quemby coming across the line. Apologies for that. Lewis Craig coming across as well. Sheckwace in third. M. Shep comes in fourth in the end. Dan Morris in fifth. Neljak in sixth. Sayers Sports in seventh with Paul McGee in eighth. Daniel P. Wheelnut comes across the line, and
And Mr. John managed to take it thanks to
Mr. John
no
takes him as
penalties.
well because of penalties. Theo Hickman ends up behind Daniel P. Wheelnut in the end in 10th position. Paul McGee comes across the line in 11th. Notgear Mass, after that incident, will come across the line in 12th position. Kaya will likely come across the line in 13th unless his teammate in Red Bull Kim can take anything here, as he just gets a 3-second time penalty for a corner cut on the final lap. I don't know why he did that. But it looks like Red Bull Kim will now take the point off Kaya here on the Jose point system to take, my goodness me, to take it from him. So yeah, that'll be your final order in the end, will be Red Bull Kim, as we can see even further wide here. And I'm not sure if Kim is trying to drop back here to give him the point.
Might actually lose
but Kim takes him in the end. So
yeah.
what an eventful race we saw here. In Bahrain, under the sunlight. I'm not sure if the sunlight has gotten to the drivers' heads here, as we've seen Dan Morris taking the driver of the day on here. But yeah, some crazy races and incidents that we've seen across the board here. But here we go. Mayor Quemby is your man of the day to take the lead here as he's listening out for the crowd for those cheers. And a great race from him. He really bided his time. He got his strategy spot on, and he made that opportunistic Daniel Ricciardo, last of the late breaker style, move into turn one to take 2 positions in one corner. So well deserved there with the spraying of the champagne with Lewis Craig and Sheck Ways. They are coming together in this race as well. And maybe we're starting to see this the inception, I suppose, of some drivers having some feuds there. And look at that, Owen Quemby in a fighting pose, ready to take the title this season. So let's run through your order here. Mayor Quemby in first position takes the fastest lap of the race as well, so he'll get 26 points added to his championship total, with Lewis Craig in second and Sheck Waste rounding out your podium in third place there. Sheck will take fourth position with Dan Morris in fifth and Nell Jack in sixth, with Saya Sports in seventh. Mr. John making a great recovery drive in eighth there. Daniel P. Wheelnut will be a race to forget for him in ninth position after incidents with Theo Hickman rounding out your top 10. And then we have Paul McGee in 11th, Notgear Mass in 12th, Red Bull Kim taking that final point away from his teammate on the final lap in 13th, and Kaya in 14th will round out your order. But yeah, I suppose really it goes down to ask you, Sean, who was your driver of the day, and I suppose your driver of the night in general?
I think I'm going to have to give it to Lewis Craig, as I think he's managed to keep the more consistent with his positions. Because that first race he did get a lot of penalties. Who's kept it nice and clean? It's probably the likes of like Nell Jack. He's kept his races nice and clean. He's managed to get a couple of good results from it, actually. Few unfortunate results for some of the other drivers, like what could have been for like the likes of Sheckwise and Daniel Wheelnut having those incidents with other drivers and that, and no doubt we'll see a couple of penalties handed out after this race.
Yeah, so all standings, I suppose, are always subject to the stewards' inquiries and their decisions at the end of it all. But I suppose if I was going to give a driver of the day specifically for Bahrain, it has to be Mayor Quemby. He did a great race there, got the strategy absolutely spot on. And I suppose really, who's the driver of the day, driver of the evening, sorry, across all of it? Do you know, I'm going to give this to an unlikely Red Bull Kim. Red Bull Kim, I think, has made a great return here in TGP2 and has got some good points on the board as well. He's kept it clean. And whilst he hasn't had the pace in qualifying, he's managed to be able to recover some of it for the race as well. So yeah, congrats, Red Bull Kim. You're taking my Driver of the Evening award in week one here. But that's the end of the proceedings for the evening. I hope you've enjoyed it, really. Join us next week, where we will be... Where will we be, Sean?
Oh, I think it's Imola, maybe, and what's the other one? Oh, my God. Put me on the spot.
China is round 3 and Imola is round 4. To refer back to the spreadsheet to find out where we are. So yeah, join us next week there. Whilst we won't have a stream, we will have highlights going up, I'm sure, from the drivers. But yeah, this is just starting out. We've got some feuds between Daniel P. Wheelnut and Theo Hickman already brewing. We've got some feuds between Shaq Waite and Lewis Craig already brewing. And we've got some outright amazing speed from Dan Morris and Owen Quemby. This is going to be another great title fight, I'd imagine, come the end of it. And yeah, it's something that you're going to have to track along with us. We're going to be joining you, I'm sure, for the final race of the season with commentary as well. But yeah, any closing thoughts here, Sean, before we leave?
Yeah, tune in. Obviously, next week we've got another round of TGP1 and another round of TGP2. But I don't think we'll have a stream for that. We'll be back for the finale of the season yet again, and we'll catch you all up at that point in time.
Yeah, thank you for joining me in commentary, Sean. And yeah, as I said, this is one that you're definitely going to have to keep a track of. We do have an app that is updated with the standings as well, so you'll get some live standings when the stewards have made their decisions on some of the incidents from tonight. So keep a track of that. But yeah, tune in next week for the highlights, but tune in for the season finale, where I'm sure I'll be me and Sean on the commentary again. But as always, see you on PS4.